recommendation.
Yeah.
This week on Post Credits Podcast. Roger, what you got for us?
So my movie recommendation, because it's my turn this week. Lucky for me, I have also chosen a Mission Impossible movie because one, I'm not stupid, but I have chosen Mission Impossible 6, which is Fallout, which I believe is the best Mission Impossible movie.
I would, having just done a fresh rewatch of all of them, I would agree with you.
Because it could have ended there. You know
It
what I
could
mean?
have.
They could have ended it there, and they didn't.
Well,
and
they set it up to end it there. Like it was.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It felt like it, yeah.
I mean,
Julia coming back. And,
it was so good though that they didn't do that, and I think we get now. Not saying these last two movies, the Dead Reckoning part, we'll just call it a Dead Reckoning at this point, and Final Reckoning, I think are fine movies.
Yeah.
And, we'll talk about that too. I think Fallout's fucking awesome. Like
Yeah.
probably one of the best action movies ever made. And
No
from
doubt.
point A to point B, it's all action all the time. And the story, it just works.
Yeah.
In the world where, Tom Cruise can run like this for as long as he fucking can. And, but it's a good overall movie, and it checks every box you want it to, even if you have never seen a Mission Impossible movie. And I know for a long time, Chris, you had never seen a Mission Impossible movie. And I know you watched Fallout before Dead Reckoning, at least.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
So I didn't watch it before Dead Reckoning. I watched it before Final Reckoning because I went back and watched them all after I watched Dead Reckoning.
Okay.
Because I was so impressed by the movie that I watched all of them back that. I would say Fallout is the best one. I would agree with you on that. However, I like Ghost Protocol a lot.
Ghost Protocol's pretty good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
hey,
number 4.
good
Yeah.
villain.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The
Good
villain
villain.
in that one was so good.
The thing that, like, the villains don't. Unlike James Bond, the villains don't make the movie. Ethan, I mean, the stunts make the
Yeah.
movie. Like,
Well,
that's the.
Yeah, I would even argue that in a lot of James Bond films too, that the pull is Bond, right? And
Sure,
like,
always,
the
always
villains
will
aren't
be.
always strong. But
they're meant to be, I guess.
but Fallout's it's great, right? So like in after as rewatching them, it's interesting to see the evolution of the action power that each movie has, because like they're all action movies, they all have good action in them, but like just the scaling and the impressive nature of like the visuals that they deliver in each subsequent Mission Impossible movie is really cool to see in like I'm gonna watch these in back to back like setting, right? I watched them over
did that. Like,
I watched them over like three or four nights is what I did, and like
It's a lot of
everyone
movies.
was like, "Wow, that was good."
It's a lot,
Oh wow,
it's a lot of Tom Cruise.
I mean,
It is a lot of Tommy.
let's be fair. They're not all that good. Like,
no.
one's okay, two's not.
Two's bad.
Listen, all the jokes aside, like it is very early 2000s.
It's a great action movie. It's just
Yeah.
not a good movie. That's
Yeah.
the thing, you know.
3 is okay, and then 4 is where things really start to come
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
into like a semi-cohesive
Wasn't
story.
that
and
around the same time that like Fast did that same thing?
sort of,
Kind
yeah.
of came back and started a continuous story all the way up.
They wove their story together. and-
instead of being independent
Yeah.
movies. Which
So.
I'm actually surprised we now know what the Rabbit's Foot was. I didn't think we were ever going to know what that was. I'm
I
so
mean,
glad.
Hey, they didn't have to do that, and they chose.
well, no, that was
which is
not
fine.
intended for that.
Yeah.
They didn't have to, and I don't know if that's actually what it was. But
No, it was
they
never.
made it work
yeah.
for this film.
Yeah,
so
like,
that's
look,
cool.
In long run, sure, we know what it is. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
Well, what are the two Black Sheep films of Mission Impossible?
2 and
3.
Yeah.
3,
Of course. But like I have a whole spiel on 2. Is like I think Dead Reckoning Part 1 is actually kind of a remake of 2 in a weird way.
Maybe.
There's far less Fred Durst.
Yeah.
So-
Zero in the. But anyway, so here's the thing about Fallout. Fallout was 2018. It was at a time, right before the end of Game of Thrones was at an all-time high. The Marvel stuff was at an all-time high. That was a good couple of years for movies. It was just
It was.
it was doing very well for itself. Fallout did monumental numbers.
Did big
Mhm.
money too. Big
Huge
money.
cast. I mean, of course, and I just watched it again, and I got to say, the Tom Cruise and Henry Cavill fight in the bathroom with that dude.
Fucking awesome.
They get
Yep.
tossed around like ragdolls. I
So-
love it. I just
That scene is iconic for Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah. I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. To where he like loads his guns
you
in a
talking
way.
about
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
he does a whole interview about that.
Yeah.
Because of it wasn't something he did intentionally. He did it because he said his shirt kept rubbing
Yeah,
up into
yep.
his armpits.
Yeah, and now
when
it
he was swinging, it was uncomfortable, so he did that to get it out.
yeah, and now it's
And the
iconic to like
Director fucking loved it. He's like, "You just reloaded your arms." He's like, "What?" He goes, "Watch this," and he
Yeah.
he shows him
Yeah.
the date.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, Oh,
Chris
Yeah.
McQuarrie
Fuck-
did. Yeah, but that's the
fucking
thing. I
loved it.
remember on the trailer they put like the cocking noise of a gun in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
fucking
Which, look,
reloaded.
Henry
his corpse.
Cavill, he probably deserves
It
that
just
noise.
proves that even Henry Cavill's making mistakes or going off script, he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
So.
He's good. I just don't understand why you toss him away from Superman. Gun.
That's a
I'm
whole
with
other,
you.
that's a whole other podcast
He didn't
episode.
do that.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he didn't
He
do
didn't
that.
do that.
So, and to your credit, Roger, I will say that Fallout, not only is it a wonderful action movie, but it does have those wonderful ethereal moments that like they don't work. And I'm going to talk about the scene where like Ilsa, Rebecca Ferguson, is like following, even though because like Ferguson was introduced in 5, and she kind of introduced for reasons, kind of trying to stop Hunt in other ways and support at the same time, and then she ends up falling in love with the man. But like she's following him through the city and through the hedge maze. And it's like this awesome, deep, reflective music that Chris McQuarrie used. And it's like they then meet in this long orchard in Paris where like it must be a historical place.
Mhm.
And like they have the conversation, and it's just movies have a hard time pulling that off as well as Fallout did. But that's
Sure.
one of many examples in Fallout that just worked. And we saw the end of the Hunley character, the Alec Baldwin character. Who is the woman that is now president in the new film?
Angela Bassett's character.
Yeah, Angela Bassett she was in that one too, and wonderful in that one it's just a Mission Impossible. If it ended at 6, I would not have been upset because
Yeah, it
that's a
would've been
great
okay.
note.
It would have been okay. But the 2 movies we got after that are good.
They're good,
Which
They're
is
good.
surprise. I mean, at the time, you never know how something's going to turn out. But like, I'm happy with how this shakes out.
I'm happy we got him.
Yeah,
think-
that's totally
I
fine.
think it's
I do honestly though. I would stand by 6. If I had to pick one of the movies, 6 would be the hill I would die on.
Well, 1 or 6 would be the one though.
No, it'd be 6.
Well, okay, but fine. But
It would
one's
be
iconic
6.
shit.
It would be 6.
It'd be 6.
6 doesn't have any action sequences like the first one though.
Doesn't matter. It's a better movie.
Agree. Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm
Sounds
just
like
saying
you are.
the argument to dismiss the argument is a foolish thing. That's what all I'm saying.
I dismissed the argument.
Okay, fair. Anyway, so that
Just
being
my
said,
fucking recommendation.
I mean, hey, this is digital and timestamped, so whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the franchise as a whole. I got some things I want to talk